Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Listen, I'm a Barber podcast. I'm Jay Hollywood, and Happy New Year to everybody. I hope your holidays were great. Today, we got a crazy special episode. I'm here with my man, Nick, making his first pro debut in the cage. We're going to get into it heavy, but first off, Nick, welcome, man. Good to see you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm super excited to become a professional fighter now. So,
Dude, how was it like? Because I've seen your ring action. I've seen how like crazy you can get, but you're also so mild mannered. Like all that craziness in the cage, and you're just so calm and collective, like on the surface. Like, what was it like when you knew you were actually going pro? Like, holy shit, you're pro.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of just like I always knew it was going to happen in the back of my head. So, it's easy to stay calm, when you know it's coming. But
Confidence.
yeah, but in the cage, I turn it on. I'm not calm in the cage. Once I get my hands on somebody, I
Clearly.
I go. I like to dominate. I'm an aggressive fighter. I like to, be known as that. So, yeah, you got to put the calmness away and turn it on when it's time.
Dude, I really respect that because a lot of guys I know can't turn the switch correctly. It's just they're either nuts all the way or they don't turn the switch on at all. It's really cool that you do that. Gotta ask you, before we really get into the fight details, how old are you?
I'm 27. I'll actually be 28 the night before the fight. So by the time I fight, I'm 28. My birthday's the night before.
That's gonna be one hell of a celebration.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how it lined up.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, right? When did actually? I'm gonna say it like this. What age were you when you knew you wanted to fight? Like it didn't cross any path other than I'm gonna beat people's ass for a living.
Yeah, but I'd say 5 years old. I was
5 years old.
yeah, I
Holy
was
shit.
I think I was a violent little kid. I was violent my whole life, and it all started at 5 years old. My dad died when I was young. It wasn't easy growing up. My mom wasn't around, in and out of prison, so I kind of just like I didn't grow up like other kids. I was more violent. I was looking for fights, and when other people were playing football, basketball, and sports, like I was looking to fight, and I was frowned upon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like at 5 years old, I was like, I'm not just gonna be this like a bad person, but I'm gonna use the violence to become a good person and use it as like a career. And
I like that.
yeah,
That's like a Superman type of vibe. Take the power for
yeah,
good.
yeah. Since a kid, I knew what I was gonna be, and I didn't want to use it as in bad or wrong. Like I had a good head on my shoulders, but I knew what I could do was bad. So
When did you know you were that dude? When did you know you weren't scared to throw your hands at any point?
so I got my first fist fight in kindergarten,
Jesus.
and
Starting early.
yeah, and that was, I was the first kid in my elementary school ever got detention and suspended. I got sent home from school that day. So look at Frank.
I know Frank's just chilling. He's coming over to hang out.
Yeah.
Good. So kindergarten, you're throwing your first shot and just knowing you just laid this kid out.
Yeah, I was actually in the bathroom, and I was a tough kid.
That's old school. Go right to the bathroom,
Yeah.
close the door.
Yeah, and he was a tough kid too. He grew up in Blackwood. They say we're kind of like it's sweet in Blackwood. But I've seen a lot of things in Blackwood. Blackwood has everything, and there's been shootings and robberies, and we got crime rate. And
It's actually now that you say that, I didn't. And I've grew up in Blackwood like my whole life, but yeah, there's definitely places where like I think any place could be sweet, but Blackwood definitely had some things like that no one really knew or no one paid attention to.
yeah,
Like all the
yeah,
cops that I cut in the shop, they're like, yeah, this is, if you think it's great, it's like, let's keep it going. It's like, oh, okay.
yeah. Like I wouldn't say Blackwood's the hood or
Nah,
anything, but I grew up on food stamps and in Section 8 apartments, and my family never had money, and I kind of grew up the same way, similar to a lot of people that grow up in the hood. And, fights just come about. You got to prove, yeah, you're tough. That was always a thing for me. I wasn't going to let anybody step on me. I was always like really short and small. I was 4'10" as a freshman in high school. So, I got a lot of shit, but I wouldn't take it. So I knew that I had to be tough, growing up.
Yeah, man. I'm a little guy too. There was definitely some moments in my life where people just want to test you so that they could feel better. And
Yeah.
it feels good to just knock somebody the fuck out that just don't see it coming.
Yeah, it's like, it's not football or basketball or anything. Like, I think the way to prove that you're better than somebody is to be tougher than somebody. And one way to do that is, if you have to beat them up or prove that you're tougher, that I always took pride in that's how I'm better than the next man. You might beat me in this or that, but
Yeah.
if it came down to it, I'm going to walk out of this situation and you're not, so.
Yeah, I think the only thing that disappoints me now, I'm gonna be 35 soon, and when I was younger, like in my teenage years, it was still okay to fight people. Not like to, the society standard of, oh my God, you shouldn't be doing that. But it was still acceptable that if you had a problem with somebody, you're not calling the HR department, you're not calling the principal. It's like, okay, like this cat is gonna punch me, I'm gonna punch him, or like something's gonna have to happen. But like people still respected it. Now it's don't touch him, don't do this. There's just so many fucking rules, and I love that like you take the same concept and put it in the cage and apply rules to it and almost make it sport. Like
Right.
it's something I never did myself. I think it was always an amazing adrenaline rush to get into a fight. Such a fucking rush, but I never liked the repercussions at the end. Breaking my hand a couple times, but my nose broken once. I
Right.
mean, I've had my eye socket shattered. It's
Jeez.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's bad.
luckily I've never truly been hurt in a fight. Um, you know,
Nah, never been hurt.
nah, never been hurt.
Anybody ever like ring your bell a little bit? Like someone like clipped you the wrong way, or
Yeah, like I've in the cage I've got hit one time. It was by accident, he wasn't allowed to throw a knee and I went to take him down, shot right into his knee and I seen like stars, I guess you could say like I wasn't quite there for a second, but I came right back to it, kept fighting, kind of like woke me back up, but
did you win that fight?
yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you took a knee, an illegal knee, and still won the fight.
Yeah, yep, yep.
So,
Got to keep going.
real quick, I hate to cut you off, but you explained something to me the other day when you were in the shop, and of why you couldn't wait to go pro. And for anybody that's listening right now, in the amateurs, you can't throw elbows, knees. There's a restriction in the amateur realm.
Right.
You've been waiting to get into the pro realm just so you could really unleash all of your talents.
Yeah, I truly think that the best part of my game in fighting is my knees, my elbows, and
And you haven't even been able to
yeah,
use them up until this point.
yeah.
That's crazy.
I have 3 knockouts and none of them came from knees or elbows. So I couldn't imagine if I could have kneed or elbowed somebody. I sent 5 guys to the hospital of my 8 fights, and
You just
that
said
was
that so
without
casually. Yeah, knocked out 5
yeah,
guys, put them in the hospital.
and that's without knees and elbows. They're protected. Those rules are there to protect them, and it did protect them. And they still got sent to the hospital. So now with this fight on February 9th, it's 15 minutes and I have no rule set, nothing stopping me from, besides eye pokes and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
dirty shit.
Yeah, and I don't need that. I just, I want to fight using every limb of my body. There's been times I was on top of guys and I could rain down elbows and I couldn't. So, fists, they still hurt and I'm raining them down and I'm hitting them ground and pounding, but the elbows, man, they slice you open. They get you the big cuts, bleeding.
I've been hit with an elbow before
Yeah.
by accident, and yeah, it rung my fucking bell.
Yeah,
You can't even like yeah, that's just a tough shot to take.
yeah, it's definitely it's just a different shot. You can end the fight with one clean elbow, and even if they don't knock the guy out, they usually open up cuts on the forehead and stuff, and then the ref stops it, and then you're the winner. So it's Muay Thai kickboxing. The art is a lot of it. It's the 8 limbs. I think they say it's knees and elbows. That's the main thing they do in there. So
I wanna go back to something real quick though, because I was watching, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I was watching your highlights, and now that you're saying you've never struck elbows, knees, any of that, I was watching somebody that I guess you cracked right in his face. It looked like he had a boil on his that was no knees, no elbows. That was just your fucking fist.
yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, dude.
He that was a jab too. He walked, I threw a kick and I stepped down with that foot and threw that same hand and it was a jab hand and it wasn't my power, it wasn't the right hand. My right hand's my power hand. It was my left hand
And
and
you
it
only and your division right now, what are you gonna fight at?
125 pounds.
You're throwing power aggressive power shots like that at 125 pounds,
Yeah.
that is unheard of. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see you unleash on this guy.
Hey, I just want to shout out my sponsors. We have Keller to Cellar, DPI, Hulk Construction, MV Executive, Boss Granite, George Smith Towing, Cockadoodle Dan's, St. Nick, and Joel Construction and Concrete.
Who are you fighting again?
So his name is Mardine Velasquez.
Mardine Velasquez.
He's from Maryland, I believe. He trains in Maryland or New York now. I'm not sure, but he's from Maryland.
I looked at him. He got the Muay Thai special going on.
Yeah, he's a striker. He in his last fight he knocked the guy down in the first round. He came out hot and he had some good strikes and stuff. But yeah, I think I'm better all around in the cage than him. I think I'll outstrike him. That's his game. I think I could out wrestle him. I could get the submission. I'm gonna do what I want in there.
I watched a few times during his highlights that he went down, and you definitely have a harder, like you have a harder position for the ground game than he does. I saw him struggle while he was on the ground.
Right. Yeah.
That's
My
your game.
yeah, my
That's your fucking game.
Yeah, I've been wrestling since I was a kid. My coach, my gym is American MMA and wrestling in Williamstown, and they specialize in wrestling. We do a lot of MMA and we're striking, but the whole point is to get our guy on the ground and dominate, because on the feet, it's 50-50. You guys are slugging it out. It's awesome to watch, but sometimes you don't know who's quite winning in that,
Yeah.
somebody hits somebody 20 times, the other guy hits him 17 times, but the guy that hit him 17 times, they were harder shots. It's hard to call it. And then the judges just pick who they think is the winner,
Right.
so,
They're not actually feeling the damage done. It's just like
Right.
almost like a point perspective,
right.
right?
So, my coach likes to say, to show these judges that you're the winner, that you're dominating this fight, take him down on the ground, be the guy on top, let that guy squirming around trying to get up, he's losing. So,
Yeah, I guess from more of an outer perspective, looking into the fight, you
Right.
see the control. Like it's hard to argue control.
Yeah, if you're on top of a guy and then the whole fight and then the judges say you lost, it kind of doesn't make any sense. That would be a bad call on the judges. So it's hard to dominate a fight on top of somebody and still lose, and that's what my coach pushes to always end up on top. Now, even like because we think I'm the better striker, we want to go in there and strike with them. But if it's a close round and it's the end of the round and we need a takedown to take that round, make sure that we're the winner.
So I never even thought. I know there's strategy to the fight game, obviously, but I would have never thought from a point perspective that, let's just say you're dominating him up top. It's like, yo, real quick, take his ass down real quick to solidify the round point wise. I've never really thought of it that way. I've never really scored a fight in my head. I'm just like everybody else watching the fight, like, oh,
Yeah,
fucked him up. Like,
yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah, so if it's like a close round, you're going at it on the feet and both landing shots. Yeah, the last 10, 20 seconds, you want to make sure that you are the guaranteed winner. So you try and end up on top. You try and take that guy down and be the guy on top, landing ground and pound shots, and then you're solidifying when that round ends, that bell rings, that you were it's a mental thing too. He goes back to his corner and he's like, damn, I ended that round losing, even if he started winning. Now he ended losing and he's got to start again. And if the pattern continues, he's losing again.
So, when you're in the cage, right? First off, before I get into this next question, you know, I've stepped into a boxing ring, I've sparred a little bit. I think that alone is fun. Like it just gets you fucking rolling, but you're being judged. People are watching. Like the few people that watch me spar with the coaches and like a couple of the other guys in the gym. What's it like when you fucking just what's it like when you just get into the cage and that fight is about to get busy? Like, where's your head at? What are you thinking about? Are you blank? Like, what's it like for you as you're going into that cage?
So I always say it's the craziest feeling walking out to fight somebody in that cage. But
Do you have a song? Do you have a song you come out to?
yeah, I'm coming out to "I'm Supposed to Die Tonight" by 50 Cent.
Jesus Christ! Oh wow, that'd
Yeah.
get somebody's bones chilling.
Yeah, I've been listening to 50 Cent since a kid, and
Hell yeah,
he hypes me up for them fights, his lyrics, and everything he's saying.
50 will get you going.
Yeah, I'm ready to go when I listen to 50. So backstage before the fight, that's what we're listening to.
I
you
can
know.
picture like till I collapse going off like right before the fight and
That's
just
a
losing your
yeah.
fucking mind.
Yeah, that's a great one. There's a lot. That's one of the toughest things when I signed the contract to fight. It asks you what your walkout song is, and I'm always like, oh, it's got to think. And usually all my walkout songs are 50 Cent or Eminem. So
Oh yeah.
they get me going. That generation. That's what I grew up like listening
I
to.
think that's also a Blackwood thing. A lot of the Blackwood kids that I grew up with, probably the same as you. 50 Cent, a lot of the other guys in that generation, but those two specifically
Yeah,
really were big.
yeah. They were my favorite. Growing up in the apartment complex, we didn't play like tag or anything. We were playing G Unit. My buddies were 50 Cent and G Unit, Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks, and I was Eminem. And we had water guns and bikes, and we were doing drive bys. And yeah, we just grew up crazy, and that's Blackwood. So it's like,
Were you a fan of Lloyd Banks? I love Banks, like probably overall, not more than 50, but I think
no,
Banks takes right under 50.
yeah, I've always thought it went like 50 Cent, then Lloyd Banks, then Tony Yayo.
Say then, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, 50 was definitely the best. I like G Unit, but 50 Cent carried them. He was the one.
I feel that, dude. So I gotta ask, let's get to the fight, right?
Right.
February 9th, 2300 arena. You're stepping in there to show people why you're a fucking pro. You know, Leading up to this event, like, what's really been something that you had to focus on, internally? I've had periodical moments in my life where I knew I had to step up and having never done it before, it's like, I think I know what I'm doing.
Right.
And then next thing you know, I get into the moment and I'm like, oh shit. Like, it was just like a hype out. Like that's always been a struggle for me, hyping up the moment and realizing the moment's just the same moment, just maybe with a little bit behind it. But
Yeah.
what's been something you've overcome, like just to get to pro?
So a lot, but when you to walk out there and to fight, it's just that's one feeling in its own. So like I already did it so many times, So it's my first professional fight, but I made this walk and I've gotten a cage. I have 37 minutes in the cage already in my career.
That's a long amount of time to be
Fight. Yeah.
fighting
Yeah.
somebody.
So it's like, this will be this fight's 3 5-minute rounds. It's the longest I'll ever be in there. So I've always trained hard, I've always worked as hard as I could. So there's nothing really that I'm changing up. I'm in the gym 6 days a week. I can't do 7. I need that recovery day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So but yeah, I'm just kind of used to it already. It's not anything new to me, you know.
How long have you been fighting?
2021 was my first amateur fight.
2021.
Yeah.
So you've had plenty of practice before you stepped into a cage, just understanding what it's like to, I guess, do mental battle, before you even throw the first fist.
Yeah.
I could think, you're a little guy, I'm a little guy. Most people kind of size us up almost instantly, like, he's a little guy, not really knowing whether there's immense skill or power behind that person. I always found that to be so crazy. You know, I always had one thing though. I was scared shitless to fight somebody my size. I never wanted to fight another little dude.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather fight somebody like twice my size than like a little dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely the same way. I'd rather fight somebody bigger than me. If I had to pick the person I'd fight, is 6 foot tall. Like I just always feel like I get in on them and I can take them down and yeah, control the fight there. Once those big guys are down on the ground, it's hard for them to get up. It's like a tower, and then I just climb them when they're down, and I'm on top. So yeah, I proceed now with the fighting because it's by weight class. Everybody's my size, but it's just as easy because I'm dealing with in the gym. I got 200-pound training partners. And
You train over tier.
yeah,
Like you train over a tier that you're fighting in. I mean, that when you told me that, I was like, oh, that's a different level of preparation.
yeah. There's not many guys walking around 125 pounds, like grown men. We're like a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
So in the gym, I have one other partner who's close to my weight, Justin Karras, real good wrestler from Highland. He's looking to make his amateur debut soon. He's 130 pounds, so he's right around. He floats between 125, 135. He could go either one, but he's like my main training partner. And then my coach, that's why I went to American MMA. My coach is probably 145 pounds, But, they're the two closest to me. Everybody else is 180, 200 pounds, big guys, and they're the guys I'm going with every night. So once I get my hands on a guy my size, it usually works in my favor, from that training.
Yeah, when I saw you train a couple months ago when I stopped up to see Mike, I definitely got to watch something I've never seen done before. Most of the time I've seen little guys kind of like maybe throw hands with a bigger dude,
Right.
but never completely like just control someone of that size with such a disadvantage. And I was watching you roll around on, I guess, your partner at the time, that you were going with, and I was like, oh my god, like he can't grab you. He's having such a hard time, like even gaining control of you, and you're just flying around him.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, that was cool to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely like a technique thing. Like, you might be 220 pounds and stronger than me, but all the time that I put in and got the skill that I've acquired, it'll match that weight difference. So you might think I'm the underdog coming into that and think I'm going to lose, but my skill and everything it ends up outweighing your weight difference.
I'll be honest. I'm gonna put this on the line right now. Your odds are on MGM. I'm definitely laying a stack. Like I'm 110%. Like this is easy
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, I mean, I told everybody, bet MGM. You can download the app. The odds ain't out yet. They will be. And yeah, everybody's excited for that one.
I'm hoping they put you as plus odds, just to
Yeah.
put you as the underdog, not knowing what it is you're doing to prepare for just, let's just say it's this moment because it's the next moment.
Right.
I tried to do my best with a lot of things and not look too far down the trough. It's like, okay, like what do I got to do today?
Yeah. I'm
You know,
curious of what they're gonna, what Vegas will put my odds at, because I was a champion in Cage Fury's amateur division.
yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the North American Grappling Association belt. And I know you just won that competition, and
Yeah.
you won that actually not trying.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to do the jiu-jitsu tournament. My coach makes us do jiu-jitsu tournaments. So, yeah, I had no intention of doing that. I had just won my MMA belt at Cage Fury. I was riding this crazy high. I'm so happy. My coach is like, I think my coach was trying to break me down back to earth or something. He's like, we're not done yet with that. Let's go win this belt. And
Kobe Bryant mentality.
yeah, let's win this belt in Naga. And that belt, that's a black belt. Like you can't I'm not even a black belt, but you have to go into the black belt division to win that championship. Otherwise, you just win a medal. I've won medals in my so I'm a purple belt. I've won the
You
medals.
took home the black belt
Yeah.
without even really, holy shit.
Yeah, my
That's
coach.
crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Did he even think you were gonna pull that off?
I don't think so. So the funniest part about it is he made me do that and I won. And I think he was kind of like, damn, like, like how, like he proved me wrong maybe again, So, my coach is with me, but he's a humble guy. He don't ever want you to get too ahead of yourself and celebrate too much.
I've made that mistake
Right.
plenty of times in my life.
So, after I won that belt, it was funny, he was right back to me and he's like, that was the 125 to 135 pound division with the black belts. He's like, I'm putting you with the 145 or 135 to 145 pound division of black belts.
So now you've explained this to me before, but pound to pound, like it does make a big difference when someone's physically 5 more pounds heavier, like
Yeah.
heavier than you.
Yeah, they're 10-pound weight classes. So like that one I beat the 125-pound black belt and I won. Well, now my coach threw me out there with the 135 to 145 pound black belt. So now I'm 128 pounds that day and I went with 145 pounds. That was the biggest weight difference that I went with that day.
How'd you do?
So I beat him. The he puts me in for another belt. If I win this belt, I'm now leaving with 2 Naga belts. I'd have 3 belts total. So I win that. He puts me into the next division, and I beat my first guy. And the next thing I know, I'm in the finals, getting ready to win this next belt. I'm like ready to prove my coach wrong again. Like, see, look, I could do anything. So I got caught in an armbar. Guy was really good. Black
Uh,
belt, I was already out of my so now I'm out of my ranking and out of my weight class. And the guy, but I was in the
I
finals.
was
I
like,
did
still in
good.
the
Yeah, yeah.
finals.
I won 2 matches at that weight class and got into the finals. So now on the day, I'm 3-0 in the finals. So then I lost in the finals, got armbarred. Guy locked up both my arms, not just one. Yeah, it was crazy. But that guy's he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's a black belt. He's good. More time on the mat.
Also,
But it was a
no
good match.
striking.
Yeah, no striking. It wasn't an MMA fight. And now, I had just won the belt, and they called my name to go right back. It was like within minutes. I did 4 matches within minutes.
Oh, you were probably gassed.
Yeah, it was like kind of like I didn't get a second break, but no, it's still competition. I lost, but yeah, I was not. I don't like to do jujitsu. That's not my game. I train it, but my coach is serious about it. He makes us all sign up for it and do it, and yeah, it's a totally different game.
Your coach, Frank Katone, correct?
Nick Katone.
Nick Katone, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Nick. But I've heard so much about him. He's a teacher, right?
Yeah, so he's a teacher over at Timber Creek High School. He was the wrestling coach there for years.
And low key, he's just a badass. Like,
Yeah, he was a professional fighter, even when he was a teacher. So it's funny, the kids in this school they mess with him. He's a shorter guy too, smaller
yeah,
guy.
Katone's little.
They give him shit in school, and he's probably he's the toughest guy in that school, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so it's pretty funny.
I like his methods because when he talks about the humbling part, I remember when like my nickname came about, Jay Hollywood. It like I don't know, it got me high. You know what I mean? The spark. Oh, we got a man down. But the spark of it, got me to maybe think outside of myself a little bit. And sometimes it was good. Other times it was I needed something humbling. So I do love that about Katone.
Yeah,
Having that different perspective too, because also him being a teacher, requires control and respect to have control. That's not easy to attain. For people to sit there and look at you and respect you. Also to have somebody listen to that same person and gain from them. I love that you're also able to do that with your skill. You're able to put yourself aside to still learn more, and I feel like that's a big problem with not just fighters, but just people trying to get somewhere in general.
right.
Kind of got to get in the cage and get roughed up a little bit. The fight's never over in life.
Yeah, I respect where he comes from with that, because he just wants me to keep going. It's not just because I won the belt as an amateur. It's not over yet. Now it's time to go pro. And he doesn't want me to get stuck celebrating or being happy with. It was a good accomplishment, but there's more to it. I got to keep going. So we
I,
got to
I feel
remember
that.
the end goal.
Yeah, and I guess when I took my road as an entrepreneur, like, and I really just set off to go, yo, this is my road. I'm gonna do this my way. There were times where I tried something and failed, and I caught a nasty ass depression a couple times. Like, damn, I set out so hard to do something, and just like that, you can lose, and it's like, oh shit, I get the humbling, and it was in very, very strong points where I was like, I was off my game. I wasn't focused. I was just living the high of the ego.
Right.
I've done it so many times, and so I used to celebrate too much.
Yeah.
I used to celebrate way too much.
And you see it, there's fighters and other athletes that, they get to their prime and they're celebrating too much and then they fall off, so we don't want to do any falling off, I like how he keeps humbling me and I'm going to stay humbled and keep working, I know that I have to keep working to get where I want to be, so just going to keep going.
And where do you want to be?
In the UFC, I think I'm the toughest 125 pounder walking the planet, so I don't see why I shouldn't be in the UFC. I got to prove it. So
I respect that. That again, something about your character that I love, man. Are ready. You're ready to put the work in to show it. I have so many people in my life in the barbershop that are just they're arrogantly cocky about just something that they assume, not a reality. Like there's not really a gauge for a lot of people unless they're already doing something. And as I like to call, being in the mud. When you're celebrating you're celebrating in the sun, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's like, look at that guy over there, he's in the mud. It's like that dude is strong as fuck walking through there. And when he comes out and gets that shower, he'll be 10 times stronger,
yeah,
except for the guy just watching. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, he has the experience. Now he just watched.
you're
It's like a
right.
like a passenger seat in a car. It's like you weren't really driving. You were in the passenger seat changing the music for me, but I could have drove in silence,
Yeah,
to
that's for
get to the
sure.
goal.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I got a question for you though. What do you think is your strength? You think it's the striking? Is it wrestling? Because you're so well rounded in so much. Where do you think you personally really thrive?
Yeah, it's hard. I think I'm super well rounded. You know, each every night I do jujitsu and then kickboxing and then strength and conditioning and sparring rounds. So I'm doing everything just as much as, I'm not like in a boxing gym for 10 hours a week and then a jujitsu gym for 3 hours, So it's like I'm kind of putting in the work in for all everything I'm doing. But I have three knockouts. I have a submission win. I like to just think that I'm a finisher. I'm getting in there and I'm finishing these guys. However, I got to do it. I have the most finishes in my weight class. I got the most finishes in the Northeast, which
Can
is
somebody get this guy a cup of coffee? Coffee is for closers. We're gonna have to get him a cup of coffee real quick.
yeah, I just like to finish guys. However, I got to do it, whether it's knocking them out or choking them. I'm gonna find that finish.
Which high do you prefer? Do you like the submission route, or do you like knowing you just beat the fucking brakes off somebody?
Yeah, no, I'd much rather beat them down, knock them out. I'm here for the knockouts. That's one thing that tried to prove because people say 125 pounders don't knock a lot of people out or hurt them. So I'm trying to prove that. I'm going to send everybody to the hospital. I'm going to knock them out, cut their eyeballs up, and do things that the heavyweights do. There's never been a 125 pounder in CFFC or anywhere that I watch that that was one shot that I put on the boy's
I
eye.
was just gonna bring that back up. Like that, that looked like a danger. That looked like that could have been fucked up like
Yeah,
permanently.
and that was just 125 pounds. There's people say that's not a lot of force or whatever they want to say, but yeah, I feel like I hit super hard for my size, and
Are you a fan of Bruce Lee?
um, not a big fan, but I know him.
I was you could say a fan, but what I really enjoyed about him was if you really look at his body composition, it's literally identical to yours. Massively lean, super compact, with a ridiculous amount of power that just doesn't look like it's in that frame. I used to love watching him, like his 2 inch punch, his 4 inch punch,
Yeah,
sending people flying. And it's like, that has nothing to do with like strength. I feel like that's something internal.
yeah, I take pride in that because,
That's a
bro,
gift.
yeah,
That's a beautiful gift you got.
yeah, I just I like the attention on me.
Yeah.
I like to show that I am what I say I am. I'm gonna go out there and dominate this guy and hurt him. So that's just what's gonna happen.
Do you like I spent my whole career being a showman. Like the attention was on me. Everybody called me Hollywood. And I always
Yeah,
wanted to turn. I wanted to turn the way other people saw things, and sometimes I needed to be in control for that to happen. I've been in rooms where everybody's talking, but nobody's really doing anything to get those conversations like to become a reality. I see that you take that step, and is that something you've always had, or is that something where you never took some steps, and one day you took a step in, and it was like, "Oh shit, we step in every time."
yeah. It was just kind of because like growing up, my mom wasn't around, my dad wasn't around. It was my grandmom took care of me. It was like there was not many eyes on me, and I was like kind of like, hey, look at me, look what I'm doing over here, doing like a flip on my head. Nobody's watching. So
Yeah.
I even and then all the way up, through wrestling and football and all the sports I played, I was never looked at like the best, but I always thought I thought I was better than everybody, and I just felt like I never got the opportunity to like show it, and everybody kind of just looked over me. So I just kept putting that work in, real quietly, like hey, look at me, nobody's looking at me, and then now I feel like I'm getting the attention. Like, not that I deserve it, but I like the eyes on me. I'm trying to knock these guys out because I want everybody, look, I'm showing you what I can do. And
You're also, you know, one being a professional fighter now. You've actually crossed the tier. I was gonna ask, when do you think the eyes really hit you? You know, I've gotten to points in my life where I've kind of felt the same way. I was like, yo, I'm busting my ass here. I can do some crazy shit. You just don't know it. You're not paying attention. And then I think once I had gotten into the barber shop where people could see it, one, I was a white barber in a black shop. So it was kind of like no one really gave me the opportunity. One kid sat down. That one kid sparked a compound of a couple hundred people sitting in my chair. And it was just at that moment, what was that moment where that tide turned for you, where people could see what you were doing?
so I'd say it was when I put that that golf ball in the guy's eye. As soon as I did that, everybody was like, "Damn, like you hit him hard. Like that was a lot of power." Nobody really ever seen a 125 pounder hit like that, even in the UFC. And then guys that I'm fighting, they keep getting medically suspended and they're not allowed to fight again for 6 months, a year, and we get that paperwork's public online, so we get to see that, and I'm putting everybody in the hospital more than like there was heavyweights fighting the night I fought for 15 minutes. My fight was 6 minutes, and the heavyweights both neither of them went to the hospital after 15 minutes of fighting.
Jesus
And I sent
Christ.
my guy to the hospital in 4 minutes. Not even a 6 minute fight. It was 4 minutes, and he quit, and then went to the hospital. But
I'm so curious now that you can throw, those big shots you want to throw, how this guy's going to even be able to react to this.
yeah, I
I'm
don't.
very curious to see how he's going to react to you.
Yeah, I don't see how he's gonna last 15 minutes in there with me.
You want to end this.
Yeah, my longest fight before this is 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Yeah. So we're tripling up here. We're going 15 minutes, basically a triple up. But
I remember you told me what a couple days ago. You train 3 10-minute rounds just to
yeah.
blow over that 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's just like that's just a night in the gym after kickboxing. We'll do a couple rounds, but instead of doing 3 5-minute rounds like the fight, we'll do 3 10-minute rounds to make sure I can go that long and push the pace. So yeah, we're just trying to make the come fight night. We're trying to make it easy. So we're working hard every night in the gym.
You want to lock this thing the fuck down.
Yeah, always. Once this is my life. So when they put somebody in front of me, I take, I'm at home talking to my girlfriend, and she's talking about something. And I'm in the middle of a round, fighting, and it's like I'm not trying to be rude to her, and then I'm like, man, I just can't stop thinking about this fight. Like, it's just like so.
It's
Then I'll
obsessive.
do some push-ups. I gotta make sure I beat this guy, and then I'm thinking about going to the gym, calling people. You want to meet up at the gym, and it's just, yeah, I'm putting everything into this. So I don't think he makes it, out of the first round, and I think he's going to the hospital, and yeah,
Dude, your mind is as strong as your hands, dude. That's I don't find many people I come across in life where they match, the effort to their thoughts, even, outside of a cage. I have a lot of people that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and never really take that first step to go, I started. It's just I thought. And to me, it's not that I don't have any respect for people that have thoughts. I think anybody in this fucking world has thoughts.
yeah,
Everybody can tell you something cool. Are you gonna fucking do it?
right,
And I think it's amazing just to see one, the handicap you've had growing up, and this is where you are. You're not in jail, you're very clean cut. And dude, that's very admirable.
yeah,
When you're not fighting, you should be speaking. You
yeah,
should be speaking to people.
yeah. I always thought that like
Yeah, could get you going a little bit, man.
yeah. Hey, I just want to take a second to shout out my sponsors. We have Solid Cast Solutions, Cregan Siege, House High, Turtle Insulation, Apex Estates, Listen, I'm a Barber podcast, Wayfinder, Prime Weld, Omnia Solar, Rock Products, and Fulcher LLC.
Do you ever think about talking to people? Like actually letting them know, like, the mud that they're afraid to walk into, like, it's okay. Everybody's scared to get a little dirty, whatever their perspective of dirty is, but really actually trying to accomplish your goal. It's scary, man.
Yeah, I just always thought it was weird, like asking people what they want to be when they grow up. They
Yeah.
some people don't know,
I want to be an astronaut.
and it was so weird for me because at 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be a champion. Like, so at first it kind of started like WWE. I was in
Oh, I
the
love
fake wrestling.
WWE.
Yeah, so but it grew into like I want to be a real champion. I found out it was scripted and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love to be a champion, double champ, go win a belt in the professional wrestling. But yeah, I just since 5 years old, I knew what I wanted to be. I told my grandmom and my mom, I'm going to be a champion, and they're like, yeah, like kind of just blowing it off. A lot of kids probably run around saying that to their parents, but it was like, no, like you guys don't believe it. Like I'm gonna do it. So my whole life I took pride in that, kind of always knowing what I wanted to be when I grew up. I didn't want to work like a job, any job, and
I feel like it was like a form of self guidance. I'm a barber, and nobody in my family is a barber.
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
My dad drives trucks. My mom runs a business in Atlantic City. I couldn't tell you anybody even close to cutting hair. And not that I needed help from other people, but you kind of almost know, like, if I'm going to go down this road, you couldn't help me if you tried.
Yeah.
Like this is a road that you've never traveled on. That was always my gift, not really needing help in the area where people tried. It's like you couldn't help. I appreciate the help,
Yeah.
but it's like I see this in my head so different. And 18 years later, I don't really think it was proving people wrong. It was more or less just proving that I wanted to do something with my life. And it actually turned out to be obviously not pro fighting, but it turned me to almost a pro level of my career.
Yeah.
And it was, oh man, it was beautiful. It was so hard. I think that's what most people they don't really see. They just see either if you're making money, if you're making headlines,
Right.
making the Instagram reel. It's like, oh shit, they're doing that. And it's like, yeah, we're accomplishing things we want to do, but it doesn't like completely suffice just yet.
Right.
You know, looks like we're out of the mud. It's like, no, we're just out of the neck mud.
Yeah.
Now we're in the waistline.
Yeah.
And then next day we'll get out of the ankles. And then it's like, okay, it's time to take a shower. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Clean it all up.
Yeah. Growing up, my cousins, they all pushed me to continue fighting. I just felt like we were all tougher than everybody. My family just we're super tough. I have four cousins. They're all brothers: Zach, Tyler, Matt, Billy. And we would just spend all our time. I would go over their house because stuff was rough over my house, and we would just wrestle all day long. And we had a trampoline. We would just beat each other
Oh,
up.
don't get me started on a trampoline.
Yeah. So that was just what we did, and you know,
Never stopped.
yeah, and my cousin Billy's older. He used to like punch me as a kid. I remember, and he wasn't being abusive. He was telling me like, "Yo, you're gonna need this. Like, I'm hitting you right now to let you know to be like hard in life." It was almost like it's kind of messed up. I was like 7 years old, and he was like 16. But it was like, he wasn't abusing me. And I remember he said if I could last like 30 seconds, he'd give me like $20. So it's at like 25 seconds, and he was hitting me, and each time it was getting harder because it was getting closer to when he had to
Yeah.
pay the money. So now he's getting to like 29 seconds, he's ripping me, a 16-year-old hitting me as hard as he can at 7 years old. I was just taking him. And I remember I went home to my mom, bruises all over me. And she's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I got the $20."
I
And
got the 20.
to this day, my cousin, some people are like, "Damn, dude, like your cousin was abusing you." I still thank my cousin to this day because, I just feel like he hardened me, and not just him. My everybody around me, all the situations I was in, it just molded me to be here.
Oh, you're not soft. I think, just talking to you and everybody listening, it's like there's just soft people in this world. And
Yeah,
I have nothing against soft people.
yeah,
If you don't have to be hard, you don't have to.
yeah,
Dude, me and my dad, we were born with this really weird genetic bone disorder, and we've broken bones that some people would be in wheelchairs for. We're in the gym all the time. Like there's always something that kind of has to harden you in life.
yeah,
And you get hit like that, people look at it as abuse, and it's like, nah, that one person kind of understood. Maybe other people would look at it a certain type. Well, I can't believe he would do that. It's like, yeah, but you just probably saved that dude's life.
yeah,
I've seen some guys because I went to Camden County Votech, and it was a lot of kids from Camden, and you would see it, dude. Like a bunch of these cats run their fucking mouth, and you would see it. Someone a little smaller than them just stretches them, and it's a hard ass dude. No one
hmm
expects it. It's
yep,
like that dude's life's probably a lot more fucked up than what you think your fucked up life is,
yeah.
and he just showed you right then and there.
I think that goes such a long way. Like in this sport that I'm in, there can be guys that are tough that had it nice in life and had it good, but that's because they have the money behind them to train their ass off. They probably don't work, and but even those guys, like I think that I'm one of the toughest on earth because of what I've been through. That's what makes you tough. You can't just have everything handed to you and just be this badass tough guy. You got to go through struggles to get where you want to go. And
I'm still waiting for Logan Paul to fight a dog.
yeah,
I'm
like
waiting for him to
yeah,
fight a true dog.
yeah, that's what he needs.
Not a washed up guy who was a dog and now he's got his meals fed to him. Like
Yeah,
someone that's just as hungry just to show him like it's almost like the fucking Rocky theory.
Yeah.
You hit Rocky so many times, and it's like he's just not quitting.
Yeah. It's like a love-hate relationship with, my mom, because growing up, shit was real hard with her. So I was always mad at her. But at the same time, it's like now to this day, I thank her. I'm like, I probably wouldn't be as tough as I am if, I was trying to figure out how to bail my mom out of jail when, kids were doing homework, and they'd go
Yeah.
to school the next day, they'd ask how your weekend was. And I was calling lawyers and bail bondsmen at 12 years old, while other kids were talking about their trip to Disneyland.
Such a different
And that's
experience.
when I knew, that's when I was like, I'm different from them. And that's why I want to get locked in cages, because who else wants to do that too? It's like,
Yeah, that's the one thing I was gonna say. Anytime I've ever been in a fight, it was open. Whether or not there was a bunch of people around, like it was physically open. We could roll
mm,
40 feet across. We could run away. It's like you're in that cage.
yeah,
You're not getting out
yeah,
until it's over.
you're locked in there. Yeah. It's a whole different fight too. Like, all the fights outside of the cage that I've been in, I've had the fight. It's like altercations, and it's you have to fight, and you're mad at the guy, you want to hurt him. But with fighting in the cage, it's weird because you're signing like a contract 3 months before the fight. You don't know who you're fighting. You have no bad blood for him, But
It's sport.
and we're just gonna meet up and kill each other, And so it's definitely different because when you're in a bar or something, somebody pushes you, you get mad, like you want to fight. It's hard to make yourself want to fight this guy when he didn't do nothing to you. But that's what you got to remember, that like this. I want to do this as a career. So
That's what was hard for me when I sparred. And I didn't do it very long because I didn't have the dog was not in me if I didn't have a reason. Like I've never been the type to want to start a fight. I started a fight one time and got hit so fucking hard that I was like, okay, I'll finish. Never start. That one time
yeah,
is all I needed. It's all I needed.
yeah, yeah. Fighting's crazy, man. Especially like not with a referee or judges or anything. It's
It's
like,
scary.
yeah, and anybody can jump on you. There's weapons involved. Like,
How's okay, so let's compare this for a quick second because I know the feeling of a street fight. How comparable is it to the cage?
um, I'd say not at all. Like,
Okay.
so in the street fight, it's just like anything goes. You fall on the ground, guy can like kick you in the mouth.
Right.
While you're down. It's just the rules. In the cage, it's more legalized fighting, but in the streets, like I've beaten people up in the worst situation I've been in. Like I'm beating a guy up, and he's like, I'm gonna stab you. I have a knife in my pocket,
Yeah.
and I'm on top of him, like in mount destroying him, and I'm thinking like,
I gotta kill you now.
yeah, and I'm like, I went harder, but at the same time, I'm like, can he wrestle for that knife in his pocket? Like, I'm trying to close off his pocket
Yeah.
because and it's like, I don't know. I ended up getting up off him, kicking him a couple times, and running away because I don't want to
Yeah.
get stabbed. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't running because I was scared of him, but now weapons are involved, and it's just like,
We've had to walk a couple of my buddies and we were in the clubs a couple times and there was a couple of issues where this person just doesn't like this person or this dude's talking to some girl or whatever the case may have been. It's like, yo, let's dip. I said, you do not understand because years ago we would be in the Borgata.
yeah,
I watched something happen. It scared the shit out of me. That didn't even happen to me. This dude was talking to this chick at the bar for like a good 10 minutes. Would you assume that you're talking to a chick for 10 minutes? She's probably single. Would you assume that?
yeah,
Yeah, she wasn't single. The dude came up, started pushing this dude around. And this is probably why they don't have glass bottles at the Borgata anymore.
right,
He took this bottle and split this dude.
yeah. It's horrible. I mean, yeah. It's what are you proving?
But
That,
mind you, I kind of get it because he was a small dude getting challenged by some 6'2" dude. And it's like, he's not a trained fighter.
yeah,
He's just like, yo, I was just trying to get some ass, bro. And this
yeah,
dude's going to kill me.
yeah. I mean, yeah. That's just tough luck there.
Yeah, that's scary shit, man.
Yeah.
So if there's something you could probably say to people right now, with all the things you've been through in your life to get to this point, what's the one thing you can hang your hat on? That if you were to say people got to look for in themselves, what would you say it is?
You just gotta stay tough. Keep going. Don't you see somebody go down one path, not to go down that path. It's everybody's paving the roads for you. So like my mom, I seen the route that she went with drugs and stuff. I knew that if I did drugs, I'd end
That's
up
where you're going.
somewhere on that route, you know. Then like my buddies, you know, they were tough too growing up, and they're going to rob a store or something, you know. Like I knew that's a route I don't want to take. Now they're in jail, you know. So I knew not to do certain things by watching what everybody else does, and I feel like that's a problem people have. Like you should easily see what not to do based off other people's experiences.
Observation,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like it's just smart. You got to know your worth, you know. So
Absolutely, man. And I'll tell you what, you got a lot of worth coming up, dude. And I think February 9th is going to shock at least everybody who doesn't know who you are yet.
yeah,
I think the people that know who you are, we're kind of sitting here going, wow, this might just be another walk for you.
yeah,
You know, he might give you a run, but like you're allowed to get busy now.
yeah,
And I think everybody that is in your corner, which is a beautiful sight, dude. I love how many people in your corner. It's a beautiful thing. No, not many people really get support, you know, sometimes in journeys, and to get support on that level is that's the high, man. Sometimes there's a purpose to show people that you're the example. I've said that to plenty of people in my life where if I'm doing something outlandish, I didn't do it for attention. I did it as an example. Somebody can make it happen.
yeah,
You know, I've had too many of my friends over the years just talk shit. And I'm like, any one of you guys going to do it one time? I don't even care if you don't continue.
yeah,
Just step up to the
yeah.
plate.
Show me. Yeah,
So, being the smallest dude in the room, it's like, I'm going to take full advantage. And if I fuck it up, no one else tried.
yeah,
And I'll be honest, it worked out so many fucking times. It was probably like the one gift that like almost like fearless. It's like, all right, what you gonna laugh at me? Been laughed at too many times before.
yeah,
You gonna hit me? Been hit before. You
yeah,
gonna take something away? It's like I don't really need much.
yeah. That's a skill in its own right there.
And I don't know if that's a humble thing or if that's just like you said, kind of like an observation. I've watched people lose things and you know, they lose their car and they're not the same person. It's like, ah, you could take my car. It's like, ah, you could take the house,
Yeah,
you could take the money. You know, life is such a grand journey, and I think the accomplishments we're with along the way are kind of what makes it worth it. You know, to like I said, I had a little bit of an ego to be the best white barber in a black shop, and was it the right thing to drive on? Maybe, maybe not, but it worked.
yeah. You're here now.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Just taking the first step and being an example of just kind of being fearless, man. I have the same respect, you know, on how you do your shit too. It's fucking awesome.
yeah. You're a beast, Jay.
Appreciate it, man. You
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Guys, I'm gonna run this through real quick. February 9th, Nick's making his pro debut over at the 2300 Arena. Tickets are online right now, but I don't think there's many tickets left for all the people that's trying to come see you whoop this boy's ass.
yeah. They're selling out fast.
Yeah, we had to get the front row.
Yeah,
We had to do it.
front row today is sold out. Those tickets you have.
I know we took them, man.
Yeah,
We're not missing this for the world. And like I said, support is the one thing I was huge on when I first started talking to. Certain support I think is needed, and I think it's just the support to be like, yo, you can do this. You should keep doing this. One thing I did not receive as I was growing through the barber business was a what do you call it? A reassurance, like, yo, you're doing okay, keep going.
yeah,
Never had that. So it was like, I'm gonna go until somebody says something.
right.
And no one really said anything.
Yeah,
And next, you know, a couple hundred people are in my book and they're like, how long you been doing this? Almost 20 years.
yeah,
They're like, what? I'm like, quietly,
yeah.
silently, sitting in one room like a little jail cell,
Yep.
just getting it done, saying,
Working.
yeah, that's it, just fucking working.
Yeah,
And I think most people don't want to work. They want to work a little bit, they want to play, they want to work a little bit, they want to play. It's like, I'm not here to play. I've played for a long time in my 20s, and I'm happy you didn't really go that route. I did do that.
yeah,
Fucked off for a long time, drinking, drugs, partying, being the man. And it got me ultimately just a couple cool nights I can remember. And that's about it. Like life really turned when I created the focus as the primary thing in my life. And you know, I could thank the people that never told me I was doing good.
yeah,
I could thank a million people, even like your cousin that like, you know, put a beating on you. It's like I have people that would show me certain things in life and I'm thinking they're beating me up and I'm like, nah, they're just making me harder.
yeah, yeah.
You
That's
know?
all it is. You know, I never looked at it as like resentment. You know, I thank my mom to
I
this
did.
day.
I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I was very resentful to a couple different people as I was growing up until I reached a certain age and took on a certain responsibility. And then once I took the responsibility on, I was like, oh, now I get it.
Right.
Now I get why these people move the way they move, why they speak the way they speak. Some people don't want to elevate, man. They want to just leave it as is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I know you got some parting words, man, because I'll be honest, we're all waiting for February 9th. We're all excited. I mean, what do you want to say? You know, what's your conclusion to all this coming up, man? This is a beautiful moment for you.
Yeah, if you want to watch somebody get knocked the fuck out, February 9th, man, it's just what it is. It's gonna be a bloodbath. You're sitting front row. Don't wear white.
No, 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 no. I told you I'm wearing all
I
white
wouldn't.
just to do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get a picture after. You know, I'm just coming to put in work like I always do. Whoever's standing across from me, he's gonna get hurt. He's going to the hospital. I'm coming out. I'm gonna win this fight. You know, I got too many people there. It's my hometown. I'm ready to go. You know.
Hell yeah, dude. I think we got to mention something pretty heavy before we
Yeah.
go out.
Sure.
This is one of Nick's sponsors. But I got to step in real fast. Want to say a quick thank you to Cockadoodle Dan's. Dude, he's one of your sponsors, right?
Yes, sir.
Dude, he came through with like 30. Real quick, Chase, we'll have to zoom this in. Look at these chicken tenders. Look at these chicken. These things are not chicken. These are like chicken cutlets.
Yeah, they're big. They're good.
Wow. That's fucking awesome.
They're good. I had a bunch of wings earlier, cheesesteak, chicken sandwich. You know, I'm stuffed.
Bro, did you see this right here? It's called the Batman and Robin. It's a chicken cheesesteak with steak
Mixed.
mixed with the tiger sauce.
Yup.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
The tiger sauce is great.
I'm going to have to call him and tell him his mango wings, probably some of the best wings I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, the food there is great, man. And Dan's local. He's in Morristown.
He's in Morristown?
Yeah, he has a food truck out back right now, but the shop is being renovated out front of the food truck. So yeah, check him out. Cockadoodle Dan's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You know, add them, follow them, and then check out their food. It's great.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna drop all the information for Cockadoodle Dan's and above else, like all the other people that support Nick right now. And there is a lot of people, you know, we're gonna
Yeah.
have that covered. But dude, I'll tell you, man, dude, just amazing. Your journey's awesome. You're a fucking bright dude. And not my, I'm gonna say this candidly. You know, hopefully no other fighter whoops my ass when we're at this fight. I don't know many bright fighters.
Yeah.
I don't know many fighters in my life that were very intuitive, that thought as deep as you did into what you're doing, and that's amazing, man. And I'm so happy you came on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Jay. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right, yo. So here's the question: what are you going for first? Are you going for the Batman and Robin cheesesteak or the buffalo?
The buffalo.
You're going for the buffalo?
Yeah.
All right, guys, well, we're about to tear into this food from Dan's. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, February 9th, Nick makes his pro debut at the 2300 Arena. Nick, thanks for coming. I appreciate it, bro.
Let's go. Thank you.